So I never went into decathlon with the idea that I could become the best ever female decathlete. I love to just create some awareness. When my grandmother was my age, she wouldn't have been even allowed to enter a marathon. I think getting more exposure to the sport that women can compete in it is a massive thing.
Could you tell us a bit about how you came into athletics?
I basically got into athletics because I needed to get quicker for some different sports. And so I went to the track to start some sprint training, met a coach, we got on quite well, and he suggested to me, why don't you come and try some long jump, try a few different events out, and it just kind of carried on from there, really. I started competing last February, so I'm 23 now. I was 22 when I actually set foot onto the track for the first time, which was quite scary. Everyone there was a lot younger or had been doing it for a lot longer, so sometimes you just gotta take the leap and go for it, and now that I have, I can't imagine life without it.
How would you say you've progressed from this time last year to now? Are you happy with the progress you've been making?
I am happy with the progress I've been making. So I started just with long jump and some sprints, and then I got handed a discus, which we all know how that ended. I haven't put one down since. And then from there, you sort of pick up a few different field events and you do a few running events, and before long you think, may as well just do a decathlon now.
A lot of people see it as a very male-dominated sport, and obviously you're trying to break that mould and get more females into the sport. Why is that so close to your heart for you personally?
I think times are definitely changing. It's become more acceptable for women to do a decathlon as opposed to a heptathlon. So for me, when my grandmother was my age, she wouldn't have been even allowed to enter a marathon. And I think that's such a baffling concept to women nowadays. You know, some of our best marathon runners are the women. But we think we've changed so much, but there's still this barrier. There's still this one last gap where men and women aren't on the same page. And I think it's the last real thing that I can do as a woman is to challenge that. And hopefully in 5-10 years time, this won't be a thing. But for now, there's still a little way to go.
What steps do you think we need to be taking to get more women involved? What do you think we need to be doing?
I think getting more exposure to the sport that women can compete in it is a massive thing. For me, I haven't seen any other female decathletes in this country personally. I know of them in other countries, but it's not something that's really flagged up in our media. It's not really well documented, recorded and promoted to young girls. I think they get pushed towards the heptathlon. If coaches are able to see maybe potential in some of their younger multi-female athletes to maybe take up the pole vault and try throwing a discus, it opens up that other sport to them as well.
What are your main goals for the 2025 season?
So I never went into decathlon with the idea that I could become the best ever female decathlete. That's really not what I'm trying to do. I love to just create some awareness, some excitement around the sport, get more people into it. Obviously I want to improve across the board for the events for the decathlon. I really enjoy discus, so that's something I'll put more focus on. But yeah, I mean, they're all fun, they all have their own challenges, and I think if you improve in one, you generally start to improve in the others as well. So they feed quite nicely into each other. So we'll see.
You have previously said to us that pole vault is a fun challenge. So what did you mean by that exactly?
It's a really good question. I think fun was maybe an overstatement. It's a challenge. Pole vault I think is so unique, and without the decathlon I wouldn't have been exposed to it. It's a combination of sprint and gymnastics, which you really don't get in any of the other field events, I would say. It's very unique, and as a woman, unless you are a pole vaulter, now trying to do the decathlon, that's the only two ways you really get exposed to it. So it's been different.
How are you progressing with a sport like that as a newbie to athletics in general?
So drills have been really important. Learning to carry a pole, learning the timing of planting it is the main thing that I've struggled with. But basically just accumulating as many jumps as you can in a session. If you've got a pole vault session, it's not being afraid to take the jumps. If you don't hit your run up perfectly, as long as it's safe to take off, you're better off just taking off and committing to jumping. It's when you start running out and saying, oh, it wasn't quite perfect, you've not really got time for that if you're trying to do a decathlon. So it's making the most of every opportunity to jump that you have, and just trying not to be afraid of, it's not quite right, just committing to it, enjoying it, laughing off the misses and carrying on with it really.
You're a skeleton athlete. You've just come back from Switzerland recently. Actually, no. Could you tell us a little bit about Switzerland? Like, why were you there? Like, what was the whole point of the whole Switzerland trip? What was that about?
So Switzerland was a sort of goal that I've had for a really long time. I learned about a sport called skeleton 3 years ago, and I faced a few challenges getting into it. It's not a very accessible sport in this country. Without the right support, it's basically nearly impossible to do. A unique opportunity came up with some really amazing people to go to Switzerland and do the sport and have a race, which I grabbed with both hands. And yeah, we were out there, we raced some sleds. You're doing over 70 mile an hour down this track, face first on what can only be described as a T-tray. And it makes pole vault seem very same, so it really ticked that box. But no, it was good.
How do you balance it all together?
With great difficulty. But the decathlons really helped because you basically cover all your bases. You've got to be strong, you've got to be powerful, you've got to have endurance. And as long as you've got a good base, you can pretty much use that for anything. So whether that's skeleton, you're already fit, you're just learning technique and refining things. Your body's kind of ready to cope with whatever you throw at it.
Do you think that's what attracted you to being a decathlete in the first place? Because you're obviously like very naturally inquisitive to trying out all these different things.
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing that I really sort of hold myself to is that I'm not afraid of failure. I don't mind going into an event and coming last as long as I've learned something from it. And the decathlon I just saw as this massive challenge and sort of playground for either success or failure, but it was all going to be learning. I didn't want to get comfortable in one event and think that that's where I belonged. I always look for different things in life, different challenges, different, routes I can go down just to see where I end up. Even if I don't end up following them, I'll have learned something from it and I go back to more known territory.
Could you tell us a bit more about the club you're with now, like the community that's there and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I train with the Yeovil Olympiads. They're based in Yeovil. They compete in a lot of different leagues. We're in the National League, the Southwest League, they have open meets. It's a really incredible community. We have a lot of youngsters, a few more seniors as well coming in now, which is really nice. Competing in all different events. We've got some para-athletes, which is really nice to see. And we all go and compete. We jump on a minibus, head to a meet. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what the results are for us. We've all had fun. It's just an amazing community to be a part of. It's one that's always fresh and exciting. I'm looking forward to another season with them. I don't think it's going to be a repeat, if that makes sense.
So how often do you train then with your club mates? How often are you seen on the track there?
So our club nights are Tuesday nights and Thursday nights. I'm there for both of those, and then a fair few of us will actually meet up at the weekends as well, outside of training. There's a coach that comes up every now and then, so I'm on the track up to 7 days a week really, doing bits and pieces. I think most of the things we post, or that I post anyway, are the funny outtakes. We can be serious, we do hard work, we do suffer up there, don't get me wrong, but it's having people that you really connect with to get through the hard times with is really important. If you just go to training to suffer and you're just in lactic suffering and you're miserable and then you go home, that's not a sustainable thing to do, and it's not an enjoyable thing to do. You've got to have people around you that you really laugh with, and that makes the good times even more important, I think.
If you did have someone come up to you who's never competed in athletics at all, who's maybe thinking about it but's really scared to actually make that first step, what would you say to them?
Sometimes you've just got to grit your teeth and go for it, for sure. Everyone's been a beginner, everyone's been new at something and had no experience. We've all been there, nobody's special. You never know what's going to happen. I think it's a really amazing thing to be a part of, and once you just take the leap, you never look back. But it's that first day, it's going to be scary, but it goes. Within about 10 minutes of being there, you'll realise there's no need to panic about it.